So to start with, we're going to make the berry cheesecake. And to do that, we need to make the base to start with. Now, you will need a food processor, a cake tin, some baking parchment, a spatula and a knife. Now, I am not a fan of non-stick bakeware because when you heat it, even at a medium-sized heat, it's going to be giving off toxic chemicals, and we really don't want to be putting any toxic chemicals in our body. Our bodies are overloaded at the moment with the modern lifestyles. This is non-stick. However, I'm not going to be heating it, and I'm also going to be lining it with non-stick paper, baking parchment. This particular brand has got no nasty chemicals in it, so it's not going to cause you any problems health-wise. And all you do is put your baking parchment, greaseproof paper on, and there we go. Now for the base mixture, beautiful nuts. Nuts have got so many healthy fats in there. I have been a little bit lazy here. These haven't been soaked and they haven't been dehydrated. With all of the recipes I'm showing you, you can obviously make a cheesecake how you would traditionally make one. And there's different levels that you can go through to get it to be really health enhancing. I would probably say this is about 80% of the way there. If you want to go the full hog, I would recommend you soak your nuts, especially almonds, overnight in a little bit of warm salted water, and then dehydrate them so they go nice and crispy again. And that releases the enzyme inhibitors, which stop you from absorbing nutrients. However, we're not doing that this time. So for this recipe, we actually need 1.5 cups of nuts. You can use any nuts you want to, but I'm going to use a mixture of almonds and walnuts. So there we have 1 cup and 1.5. And then dates. These are medjool dates. Oh, they are delicious. Normal dates will work, but they do tend to be quite dry. Medjool dates are very succulent and very soft, and they help the base stick together. They are a lot more expensive, but in this particular instance, I really think it's worth it. So we need 1/2 cup of dates. What you need to do is take out the stone, and we pop them into the blender. And then to help it all bind together, coconut oil. Coconut oil is amazing. It's antimicrobial, antibacterial. It's full of healthy fats, which are good for you. So the drier the nut, the more coconut oil you need. But I would probably say about 100 millilitres of coconut oil. And that's going to help it all firm together. People think it's a little bit strange. I'm using some salt in a pudding because it actually enhances the sweetness and makes it taste a little bit sweeter. So we just put in a little sprinkle of salt. Normal salt is not going to help your health whatsoever. Himalayan rock salt or sea salt, if it's from a pure water, is. Himalayan rock salt has actually got 84 minerals in there. And yes, they are in tiny, tiny quantities, but our bodies are depleted of minerals now because of the way the soil's been used over the years. So any chance you get to get more minerals in your body, take it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to process this. The consistency should hold together when you squeeze it. So that is absolutely perfect. So what I like to do when I start cooking is I fill up a nice warm bowl of soapy water and wash up as I go. So we just flatten it down. So you can see that the goodness that's going to be in the base is already far exceeding what a traditional base would be like. So now we're going to go on to make the filling. So here we have got 2 cups of cashew nuts. Now these have been soaking overnight. If you've got a high-speed blender, you don't necessarily need to soak them overnight, and you can just use a kettle of boiling water and get away with soaking them for about 20 minutes or so. but you want this to be silky smooth. You don't want people to realise it's actually made with nuts. So the longer you can soak it, the better. So these have been soaked, 2 cups, overnight, and I've just drained them off, and then we're going to put them into the food processor. We need 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Now, I like things to be as healthy as possible, but I'm also aware sometimes you might not have ingredients in the fridge, you might be short of time. I'm a great fan of this one. It's lemon pure pressed juice. You can use lemons obviously and squeeze them, but squeezing lemons is actually quite hard. I'm going to do it the easy way. I'm going to use 1/4 cup of lemon juice. That goes in the mixture. What is quite nice actually is if you use some zest, and just gives a beautiful extra dimension to the taste. Oh, the smell. When you look at recipes, or you hear people talking about recipes, they'll often say they use teaspoons or tablespoons. And I've seen so many cooks use what I consider a dessert spoon, and it's heaped. And that holds quite a lot of food. What I like to do is use these measuring spoons. That's a tablespoon, which is very different to what you would normally see. So what we're going to be doing now is putting the equivalent of 5 or 6 tablespoons into here. Now, the sweeteners, there's all sorts of different ones you can use. Date syrup is brilliant. It's got very high in fibre because of the dates. You could use honey. This is my favourite, maple syrup. Now we need 5 to 6 tablespoons. You can just pour it in. So again, we need a little bit of salt. So I've got this one, which is vanilla paste. Oh, absolutely gorgeous. So we need 1 teaspoon. If we process this now, it would be very silky and very smooth. But what we want it to do is we want it to set. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting in some coconut oil. I'm putting in about 100 millilitres of oil in there, so that when it finally sets, you'll be able to slice it. Now, there's a bit of a myth that if you have too much fat, you're going to get fat. It's actually not true. It's actually the sugar and carbohydrates that are going to make you fat. You just need to make sure that you're having good, healthy fats. That's the sort of consistency we're looking for. That's gorgeous. Now we're making a berry cheesecake. So, berries aren't in season at the moment, and I found the best way of having them, so you're getting the most nutrients from them. It's actually buying frozen ones, because if you're getting them shipped across the world, you're not going to get that many nutrients, because they're going to be quite old before you actually get to eat them. Frozen berries, brilliant. Now what we're going to do is we're going to keep some of these back so that we can decorate the cake afterwards. So we need about 1 cup of frozen fruit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to blitz it, but you have to do it pulsing, because what you don't want to do is for all the berries to just completely disintegrate and you end up with a pink pudding. It doesn't matter if you do, but it's quite nice if you can get a swirl of the fruit in there. Have a little look. It's nearly gone pink, but you can see from the size, once we pour it into the cake tin, we should get some nice layers. The smell from the lemon juice and the lemon zest and the vanilla are beautiful. Now we're going to tip the beautiful mixture onto the top of the base. So there we go, berry cheesecake. So this goes in the fridge for a minimum of 2 hours, ideally overnight, and it will then cut nice and easily for you. Once you've made it, it will keep for 3 or 4 days in the fridge, but what I like to do is, if I'm not planning on having it all straight away, is pop it in the freezer and then just take it out an hour before you want to eat it, and you've got delicious treats whenever you want them. I've just taken these out of the fridge now. They've been in there for about 3 or 4 hours and I'm hoping they've set properly. So what I'm going to do is basically show you how to open them, and so you can see what they look like. Here is our cheesecake, berry cheesecake, made with cashew nuts. And hopefully it should all stay in the centre and the tin will come away from the side. So if I do it nice and slowly, you can see it's just starting to come away from the side at the top, which means that I need to help loosen it a little bit as it's coming out. This is why a spring-loaded tin makes it so much easier. So there we go. Oh my goodness me, beautiful. And to decorate, we can put on some of the frozen berries. So there we go. That is one health enhancing pudding. That is the berry cheesecake.